Shalom, shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahara Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, for teaching me this truth according to the Bible. Right? And I'm just going through some tribulation right now, so I just want to go live real quick. Right? It ain't even about it, it's just the curses. I want to go into this. It says, Revelation. I'm going to start at 10. Revelation 12 and 10. It says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed, which it says Christ, but we know it means anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. We're talking about these Edomites, these Caucasians. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, which is who? Yahweh Shah. And by the word of their testimony, right? Pushing this truth, this the 100% truth. And they loved their lives, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Right? Because really, you gotta hate your life if you're doing this. You really gotta hate your life. I'm just going straight in the spirit. I'm just going straight in the spirit. Because really, we hate our lives doing this. I mean, it's all praises to Yahweh Bahashem Al Shah. Because what he was righteous in putting us in these conditions. Because what? We fell off from the commandments. And now we're seeing every part. We're seeing that this is the worst part, but then in the kingdom we're gonna get better, a far more exceeding. We're gonna get so many blessings, it's not even gonna make sense, but it's gonna make sense. This truth isn't funny. I'm just living. I'm just trying to learn and build myself up. Right? But this is not funny. This is like serious business. This is serious business. The Most High is not playing with any one of us. He could simply put any one of us to death, right? If we're not pleasing unto him. Right? I mean, it's kind of a good thing too when we get this punishment. Because this punishment is building us up. Let's see. Let's get this. It says, this is Matthew 16 and 21. I'll start at 20. Then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Yahweh Shai the Hamashiach. From that time forth began Yahweh Shai to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the third day. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, and that's silly. How you gonna rebuke the Son of the Most High? Saying, be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. But he turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me, for thou savorest not the things that be of the Most High, but those that be of men. Right? Because what was he? Because Peter wanted what to see him more, talk to him more, discuss different things with him, right? Be brotherly. At the same time, Yahushua had to suffer. It was his time was coming up, right? Verse 24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. And now I'm coming to that realization that I really lost my life for Yahushua's sake. I really did. All the things, because coming into this truth, and it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Coming into this truth, people I was messing with, all of them were cut off. I cut off social media entirely. What else? These women, I'm not really dealing with these women because it's something I don't need right now, right? The Most High took that away, right? For this period of time, right? The Most High took away the joy of just seeing relatives or anybody on the street, because if they're not like-minded in this truth, then it's really death to them, He took away the comfort of what you can just pray to the Most High and he got it. Well, no, because Most High isn't dealing with everybody, and if I'm not right, the Most High is not going to be dealing with me, It says, let's keep going. Matthew 16 and go back 24. Then say Yahushua unto his disciples. And how much, if he's saying it to his disciples, how much unto us, right? If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Because it's not about us, right? We're just taking up our cross and following Yahushua wheresoever he goeth. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul, or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Which soul means self. For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. And trust and believe that those same people that shall not taste of death, they went through some great persecution at the same time. They didn't come out this thing unscathed. I'm going through something right now. I mean, the Most High can have it like this. Like he kind of got my situation, and he probably had other brothers. Brothers probably went through this already, and now they're saying, "Oh, see, it's like getting a stripe." That's like going through the boot camp and then seeing if you're gonna come out the victory gate, or you're just gonna have to walk back through the front gate and take your ass back home, right? I mean, this is really he's trying us on our faith, and I'm just walking around seeing, am I pleasing unto the Heavenly Father? Is the Most High pleased with me, what I'm doing? Let's see. it just real quick. It's a lot here. This is Acts, and a lot of brothers been harping on this one. This is Acts 14:22, confirming the souls of the disciples. Let me just read up the story. I'm going to start at 14 at the top, and it says, "And it came to pass in Iconium that there went both together into the synagogue of the Jews, and so spake that a great multitude, both of the Jews and also of the Greeks, believed." But those are Israelites, right? "But the unbelieving Jews stirred up the Gentiles and made their minds evil affected against the brethren. Long time therefore abode they, speaking boldly in the Lord, which gave testimony unto the Lord, unto the word of his grace, and granted signs and wonders to be done by their hands. But the multitude of the city was divided, in part held with the Jews and part with the apostles. And when there was an assault made, both of the Gentiles and also of the Jews, with their rulers to use them despitefully and to stone them, they were aware of it and fled to Lystra and Derbe, cities of Lycaonia, and unto the region that lieth round about, and there they preached the gospel. And there sat a certain man at Lystra, impotent in his feet, being a cripple from his mother's womb, who never had walked. The same heard Paul speak, who steadfastly beholding him, and perceiving that he had faith to be healed, said with a low voice, "Stand upright on thy feet." And he leaped and walked. And when the people saw what Paul had done, they lifted up their voices, saying in the speech of Lycaonia, "The gods are come down to us in the likeness of men." And they called Barnabas Jupiter, and Paul Mercurius, because he was the chief speaker. Then the priest of Jupiter, which was before their city, brought oxen and garlands unto the gates, and would have done sacrifice with the people. Which when the apostles Barnabas and Paul heard of, they rent their clothes and ran in among the people, crying out and saying, "Sirs, why do ye these things? We also are men of like passion with you, and preach unto you that ye should turn from these vanities unto the living power, which made heaven and earth and the sea and all things that are therein." So what they're really humbling themselves, because what? They didn't get that power through their own means. They got it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Verse 16, "Who in times past suffered all nations to walk in their own ways. Nevertheless, he left not himself without witness, in that he did good and gave us rain from heaven and fruitful seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness. And with these sayings, scarce restrained they the people, that they had not done sacrifice unto them." And this brings up another thing. This is Second Ezra 9 verse 9. It says, "Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my law, but they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. And therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is and for whom the world is created." Then answered I and said, "I have said before and now do speak, and will speak it also hereafter, that there be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved, like as a wave is greater than a drop." So going back to 14, Acts 14, it says, "And nobody's really going to give this to you except the ones going through it right now, you know? We're the ones going through it right now, right? Like this is live in our lives. We're going through this persecution, right? And these people won't get right, right? But they weren't meant to get right. Or they'll get right when they see our power, right? That the Most High grants us, right? Lord willing. I don't want to ratiza. It says, verse 17, nevertheless, he left not himself without witness, and that he did good and gave us rain from heaven and fruitful seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness. Because the prophet's always been there saying, Yahweh, Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, created all this. You know, he gave us all these goods. He let us out. He put the spirit on Moses to lead us out of Egypt, right? And now what we proclaiming? He raised up his men again, right? To push out this testimony, right? It says, and with these sayings scarce restrain and with these sayings scarce restrained they the people, that they had not done sacrifice unto them. And there came thither certain Jews from Antioch and Iconium, who persuaded the people, and having stoned Paul, drew him out of the city, suppose he had been dead. Wow, so you see how hard Paul went? Paul went hard for this truth. I mean, they stoned him and thought he was dead, carried him out of the city. That's how bad he got stoned, that they carried him out the city, thought he was dead. Bro, howbeit, as the disciples stood round about him, he rose up. Wow. And came into the city, and the next day he departed with Barnabas to Derbe. So what? And now I'm getting comforted by the scriptures, because what Paul went through, what I'm going through right now, or might go through in a couple of days, you know, it can't be compared, you know. That's comfort right there. That's true comfort. I feel comforted in my spirit. Paul got stoned. And then when the disciples were around him, like round about where he got stoned in them, you know, got carried out, he still got up, right? The Most High still preserved him to keep doing this work. So ain't nothing, Lord willing, nothing's going to stop me from doing this work. It says, howbeit, as the disciples stood round about him, he rose up and came into the city. And the next day he departed with Barnabas to Derbe. When they had preached the gospel to that city, right, still teaching, got stoned, still teaching, and had taught many, they returned again to Lystra and to Iconium and to Antioch, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Let's see if I can get this one. Lucky. This is Second Ezra 7. I'm going to start at the top. It says, and when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the nights afore. And he said unto me, up, Ezra, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river, who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left the deep water. Right. So on the right hand, really much death. On the left hand, destruction. Right. And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. That's why this what we're going through right now, it's just it's really us going through this by ourselves, right? If this city now were given, where with this is an individual thing, right? To strive for the truth unto death, right? This is if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the dangers of before, how shall he receive this inheritance? So how these? I mean, we got to go through these things to get the blessing, right? To be the first fruits, right? Lord willing. It says, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, even so also is Israel's portion, because for their sakes I made the world. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. There were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. For the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. Um, if then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid for them. Right. This is 15. Now therefore why disquiet thou thyself, seeing thou art but a corruptible man? And why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal? Why hast thou not considered in thy mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present? Then answered I and said, O Lord, that bears rule, thou hast ordained in thy law that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the ungodly should perish. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for wide. That's what we're doing, right? We're suffering those straight things, right? And we're hoping that the path is gets easier for us, right? We hope to we go through these things hoping that the Most High has mercy on us. For they that for they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the why. Because guess what? These 2/3 ain't gonna make it. I want to be, Lord willing, I'm part of the elect 144,000, right? But I also, just to be a part of the 1/3, like that's the 144,000 is part of the 1/3. You know, it says, 19, he said unto me, there is no judge above Yahweh, and none that have understanding above the highest. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai that is set before them. For Yahweh have given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him and imagined vain things. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways. But his laws have they despised, and denied his covenants. And his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. And therefore Ezra's for the empty are empty things, and for the full are full things. Behold, the time shall come, that these tokens which I have told thee shall come to pass, and a bride shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen, that now is withdrawn from the earth. And whosoever is delivered from the aforesaid evil shall see my wonders. For my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. Well, now already happened. That prophecy is fulfilled. Yahushua already came on the planet and died for us. After these years shall my son Yahushua die, and all men that have life. Right? And let me keep going. And the word shall be turned into the old silence 7 days, like as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain. Right? And after 7 days, the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt. And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and so shall the dust those that dwell in silence, and the secret places shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them. And the Most High shall appear upon the judgment, on the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. But judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong. So what? That's all coming into the times. That's all describing the times of right now. Because what we fell off, right? We all fell off from our heritage. Now what we was being revived, and what now is that time where faith is flourishing, right? And truth shall stand, because now the truth is coming out. And the work shall follow, and the reward shall be shown, and the good deeds shall be enforced, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule. Right? That's all I want to get from there. That's all I want to get from there, because it's just really I'm just thriving off the vexation right now. Let's go back to this. It says this is 2 John 1 and 6. It's only one chapter. It says, and this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, you should walk in it. For many deceivers are entered into the world, who confess not that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichrist. Look to yourselves that we lose not those things which we have wrought, but that we receive a full reward. Right? So if you're going to do this thing, do it 100%. I mean, verse 9, whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Yahushua hath not Yahweh. He that abideth in the doctrine of Yahushua, he hath both the Father and the Son. If there come any unto you And bring not this doctor, and receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed. For he that biddeth him Godspeed is partaker of his evil deeds. That brings in something else into my mind. Um, let's get it real quick. Oh, that's not it. Um, Lock here. Get this real quick. Saw this today. Let's get it. Bear with me. It basically says, that Enoch translated so he wanted to corrupt it. But I'm just gonna end it because I know this person. I know this is Revelation. So I don't want to end it off with scripture. This is Revelation 7 and 17. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them and shall lead them unto living fountains of waters, and Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. That's what we're waiting for. I want to say, call the Hallelujah, Yahweh Bahashim Shah. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Abad Babal.